Okay, so the next one we have is Bros Before Hoes, the Guy Code, right? So very catchy, interesting title. So what this is all about is gender expectations, right? Now, the author talks about the Real Guy's top 10 list. There's a top 10 list here with the attitudes, values, and traits that real men are supposed to possess, right? These include so many different things. But I think the general notion that we get is don't show emotion. Real men don't cry, right? You need to be strong. You need to be the rock. You need to be all of those things. And I think to some degree I do see that a lot in culture, and I'm sure we have, all of us in different cultures and different ways, seen this. And what's really interesting here is that in 1976 he makes a comparison to an article called The Four Rules of Masculinity, and he says that they're very similar. So very little has actually changed in this area since 1976 all the way to now. What does that indicate? What does that reveal? Well, I think what it means is that it's so embedded in culture and that it goes so unnoticed that it's something that is just perpetuating, right? And we haven't really recognized it. Similar to the speech, right, the Happy Feminist, that it's something that we haven't really noticed and we don't really stop back and recognize what's going on. So they talk about the gender police. Who are the gender police, and what is going on here? Are they going to arrest you? What kind of metaphor is this, right? So basically, what it is the notion that other men will judge you if you don't act like enough of a man, right? So the gender police are men kind of judging other men of how manly they can be, if that makes sense, right? And it seems that that's the reason that they attribute, that the author thinks, that men continue to do this because they don't want to let down the other men. And they actually interviewed, and they said a lot of boys said that their fathers, their coaches, even teachers, uncles, other male role models in their lives kind of taught them this in a sense. Maybe not in a top 10 list, nobody went up to a chalkboard and said this is what it means to be a man, but I think just generally, while throwing a football, while having a conversation, these are the kind of things that a lot of men and boys have learned. So what is a coded gender language, and do they believe it is biological or learned behavior? Well, that's up for our debate what we believe, but what they believe is that it's very much learned behavior. They do not think that it's biological. Why? Because they said that this top 10 list and gender police fits onto men as comfortably as a straitjacket. Think about that analogy. What is a straitjacket? How does it make you feel? Not that we've been in any, but what would it make you feel? Constricted, right? Unable to break free? And I think that's what they're trying to say. So if it fits as comfortably as a straitjacket, it's very uncomfortable, which means that they believe it's learned behavior and that it's embedded in culture through a coded gender language. And they too believe that things need to be analyzed. That's why this is an analytical essay, right? And they do believe that it needs to be analyzed and discussed in order to be brought to life. So hopefully you could see some of the similarities and differences between those two. And I'm just going to get to the third article next, and then we'll be finished for today.